Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to my analysis. I'm your girl, Shantae, aka Shanteezy, and I am here with you on this day, May 22nd, 2020, day 83 of quarantine. In the spirit of quarantine, I decided to use my intellectual brain and the social media to use where my mouth is and my intelligence are. So here we are, folks. An interesting Friday of Twitter news, social media blues, people saying they ain't black. You ain't black, excuse me, and all that. Yes. So here we are. So I start with the coronavirus. Hope you guys have your drinks because mine is in the refrigerator. I'm going to have it pop me a little glass afterwards. Coronavirus. So we are almost 1.6 million cases in, almost 97,000 deaths, close to the 100,000 mark. Have the highest deaths, just find out, in the whole entire world. Not just the country, the whole entire world. We surpass all other countries when it comes to cases. We still don't got a grip on this thing. And yet, no national mass testing. Interesting. Our leader that we have, quote unquote, the White House occupant, has not implemented mass testing. This still did not fully invoke the Defense Protection Act, the DPA. Those who want to know what the Defense Protection Act means, look it up in the dictionary. That's what it means. We still haven't done it, so I'm not surprised. That's where we are, folks. Tough crap. And we're at 38.6 million cases of, not million cases, million unemployment insurances and counting. Hi, Miriam. Yeah, so that's where we are. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly where the F we are. And you know what's so sad? Donald Trump don't care. He don't give not a damn, not a care in the world. But that's the guy who runs the country. But I'm going to get to him in his press conference in a minute. The Cuomo press briefing was pretty good. It was short, straight to the point. He acknowledged the first Memorial Day parade, which I didn't know was in Waterloo, New York, which is upstate Sakina. I can't say it right, county. So, yep, that's where the first Memorial Day thing happened. He said life is about stamina, and it is. Having stamina, I assume. Hospitalizations, new cases, and intubations are down. You still got death numbers 100 per something a day, which is true. We do. 109 people died yesterday. And I think that's some in nursing homes. I'm not sure how much in nursing homes and some in hospital. Mortality is down, though. Because we had like 700 and something like almost a month ago. And it went down to like 100 and some odd people. Some regions of the state is going to be open. I think Long Island and Mid-Hudson, if their mortality rate keep decreasing, and their hospitalization keeps decreasing, they can open up. Not sure about New York City. I think we're going to open up probably to like the first or second week of June, which I'm perfectly fine. Not in a rush. I want to work, but if I could work from home, because that's what my career lies on, that'd be great. I could work from home any other time, any other day. I could work from home. No problem. Testing is a big component about reopening. So there's 52 more independent pharmacies that's going to be doing testing. So 750 testing sites in the state, which is good. You can check your local listings when you go on health.ny.gov to look for a test site, because I'm pretty sure many of you want to get tested. I want to get tested too, even though I haven't worked in months. and I want to go back to work really bad, that's where we are. Small businesses has been hit really hard, and so Governor Cuomo said the state will be doing a small business loan program to make sure small businesses, because 90%, I said 98%, but I think it's 90%. We're not sure what the numbers is, but it's in the 90s. 90% of small businesses is right here in New York State. Roughly, I believe, in New York City. Because there's some small businesses around where I grew up at a lot. Yep, and minority owned business. He mentioned about minority owned businesses, minority owned businesses too. So he mentioned about that because they did not get from the national relief bill, because the Republicans stripped that away. I'm telling you, these Republicans are slick. You got to pay attention to them. Pay attention to everything what they do, because I'm about to get to them in a minute. So that's where we are in terms of of where the economy is. He also mentioned about, let's be smart, be vigilant of people want to gather during Memorial Day. I don't know why, but because there's no vaccine, and who knows. But you want to be careful when you congregate with people no more than 10 people or the max to gather. I'm not going to gather with my family. I took the liberty of not being near my mommy. I am getting food sometimes, and I take myself home. But I haven't seen my mom in like almost 3 months. I took the liberty to not be near my family. I miss them dearly. I think I'm gonna meet my dad halfway. I think my dad's gonna take his accessory to come down to me, so we could do an exchange. I give something to him, he gives something to me. So I'd rather keep my family safe than affecting them. And some people don't see it that way. I see it that way, because I want them alive. And to have them alive, I got to stay the hell away from them for quite a while. But we still talk on the phone. We FaceTime. We do all of that. But yeah. Some friends like Miriam is on here. I appreciate Miriam to the fullest. I, talk with her, and we talk on the phone. Sometimes I got to FaceTime her, though, one of these days. Have a live with her one of these days, but I will, because I really, really miss her. So, and miss all my friends from high school, elementary school, college, junior high, even some in the hood. I miss you guys. So here we are. So want to catch more of his briefing? Just catch it online, because I had to catch it online because I had things I had to do today. Oh, thank you, Mary. I miss you too. So let's get to the politics. Donald Trump in his damn press briefing. He said in his press briefing, because it was interesting, he's demanding that all houses of worship to be open because they are essential. I'm going to get to my point on that in a minute. And he said governors must have worship services open by Sunday. And if they're not open, he's going to override all the governors like there's no 10th Amendment. My dude. You definitely haven't read the Constitution. As 3 years you've been in that office, you did not read the Constitution. Because you can't override the governors. That is unlawful. And Congress will check you, especially the House. Nancy Pelosi will check your ass. And the rest of the Democrats. Let's be clear. But I thought Republicans were about state rights. Fuck out of here. And so he left because he didn't take no questions, because what was about to happen. And so Dr. Birx, oh Jesus, that thing was so long. She was just saying stuff about, she broke down where the cases were. There were cases less, 50 cases in March 14th. How did it climb to 1.5 million? That's because some states did not do a stay-at-home order. If Colombia put out a report, which I think is great, if the whole country did a national stay-at-home order, 36,000 people would not die. We would have saved 36,000 lives. And I worked at Columbia University Medical Center, so they know what the hell they're talking about. They know what they're talking about. And they're very smart people. So why would they lie about the death toll? That how many lives that could have been saved. So Dr. Bird just kept going on and on. I took some notes, but I got tired as my hand got tired. And she took some questions about why, about testing. She said, we're testing 1 million people a week. That's very low. You need to be testing 1 million people a day. Even though the cases may jump so high, but you know who can self-isolate and who can self-resolve and who needs to be on a ventilator. Because keeping the numbers and keeping the data under wraps like Florida did will only make things worse as a second wave of this come, because Wuhan already have their second wave already. And they're not even in the summertime yet. We're about to approach the summertime. Fall comes, and fall is cold season, allergy season as well, flu season. So you don't know if it's a cold, or allergy, or flu. And that's bad. That's even worse. But to each his own. Donald Trump thinks he's a scientist. She was asked about hydroxychloroquine, and she said the FDA said it was dangerous, but then she went on this yada yada, and then she didn't even address the Trump thing because she don't want to piss off her boss. She wants her job. Like Trump is really in charge. Then Kayleigh McEnany, said her name. Oh God, can't stand Kayleigh McEnany. She concluded with false aspirations. Trump is doing great work. He's donating his salary. She even showed the check, honey, the salary, and that he's donating to. Like, who cares? He made money off the time he's the president of the United States. He made money off that anyway. So basically, what is he donating? He's not even donating the money that he didn't divest from none of his businesses, as he said he was. So how is he's donating his salary, make it like, oh, he's doing a great job? No. He shouldn't even have that office in the first place. But whatever, he's there. Right? I can't turn back the hands of time. But she basically showed the check with his signature. So she was asked the questions. Of course, she gave crappy answers. Kristen Welker of NBC News, or MSNBC, White House correspondent, said she asked about the mixed messaging because she said Donald Trump said he wants the churches to be open on Sunday, saying, he wants to be open, but one of the scientists said it was not safe. So what is it? And then Kayleigh McEnany said it's up to the governors. How is it up to the governors? But then you want to override the governors. That's mixed messaging. That makes no sense. That will confuse a governor, Democrat or Republican alike, right? And then she basically accused Kristen for being hypothetical because she want to know how you social distance at church. Because from a person that goes to church on a regular every single Sunday, and my church is small, you can't social distance in my church. My church got like 50, 60 people. You can't social distance. And those big mega churches, you can't really, because a lot of people go to these churches. And I have attended one before. I visited one before. There's no way you can social distance in a church, especially a church full of black people. Really? Seriously? And she just went on and about the overriding, and she just gave like crappy answers. And then she was like, everybody wants to pray to their God on Sunday. And listen, I love the Lord too. But the Lord said, if you need to be safe and there's no vaccine, keep your butt in the house and you can get the word of the Lord in your home. It's nothing like you could praise God anywhere. See, all this false Christian philosophy nonsense coming from the right is just pure nonsense, but they voted in Trump, right? Quiet on that one. And then she was asked another question about can they follow the CDC guidelines? They can, and I already addressed that you can't social distance in church. And then she's like, oh, you so desperate you want to keep church closed. And the guy said no. One of the reporters was like, I am a Christian. I go to church every Sunday. I'm a faithful member, pay his tithes and all that. And he was like, but you want to be safe. You can't social distance in the church. That's what the reporters was trying to tell her. You cannot social distance in the church. It's no way you can't social distance in church. It's Absolutely insanity. And then she just basically just went on a tangent. And then she said Donald Trump wants to have people celebrate their First Amendment by going to house of worship. They always trying to pivot to the politics and the religion. You can't marry the two together. Like, it's impossible. No. And then some dumb reporter for One American News. Every time when I see this Chanel chick, I just be like, like, for real. Like, she just makes no sense. She asked, would you pardon President Obama for his illegal wiretapping? Like, why would you ask that in the middle of a briefing about coronavirus? That's dumb. Like, why would you ask that? Like, you asking for yourself to get shut down and tell like you're crazy and cuckoo clacka, right? And she was like, well, Kelly McEnany said gave some crappy answers. She said journalists need to be take it upon themselves to ask Flynn why was he illegally wiretapped by unmasked by the Obama administration. First of all, he was basically flagged for talking to Sergey Kislyak while President Obama was still the president of the United States. During Trump his transition team was trying to overline step the Obama administration as he was still the sitting president at the time. Get your facts straight, Republicans, Kayleigh McEnany. And then she tried to question about why identity was hacked, why Sally Yates learned about unmasking Flynn. First of all, Sally Yates, if it wasn't for Sally Yates opening her mouth, no one would have known that Michael Flynn was having conversations with Sergey Kislyak or going to Russia making money as a double agent. No one would know about this. Like, come on. Like, all this was unnecessary. But then again, this is another way of distraction and deflection. This is election year. Trump knows exactly what he's doing. I keep telling people, this man knows exactly what he's doing. He knows everything that he's doing. So, I mean, people, get it together. Let's all, like, think for a minute, right? You can't get Joe Biden off of what you call it. He can't do it because he's squeaky clean. Because he thought he was debating against Bernie. He thought it was easy, but you didn't get your wish. So you got Mr. Biden. You didn't. Hunter Biden didn't work for you. Tara Reid ain't working for you. So now, getting back to before he transitioned into the office, he getting at President Obama. That's the only way. And I think today's thing, what I'm about to get into, Republicans already capitalizing off of that for the next campaign. Trump is in campaign mode. He knows exactly what he's doing. And speaking of campaign mode, Joe Biden appeared on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God. About questioning about his record and his agenda for black people and how he can sway black voters. I mean, in all honesty, Charlamagne the God was right to question him, even though I don't like Charlamagne the God. I tell people I don't listen to the Breakfast Club because I can't take his voice. I mean, I never liked Charlamagne the God anyway. I didn't like him when he was on MTV. I don't like him now. Doesn't change my opinion about him. But he was right to question him about what he was going to do for black people. And Joe Biden was on a little bit of a defense mode. And he basically said, this was... because if you're not voted for me, if you voted for Trump, you ain't black. The way that whole exchange was like, no. He could have said, if you're not voting for Trump, if you're not voting for me, then you're voting for the other guy who will not, do XYZ for the black community. He's not doing well for the black community. He could have responded that way. No, he responded with the, you ain't black. Like, you can't be saying that, Joe Biden. You're a 80-year-old man. You're still part of the silent generation. You're not even a boomer. You're the silent generation. You was born before the boomer generation. Like, come on, let's be real. So you shouldn't say that. He should have responded differently. to Charlemagne the God's questioning. But it seemed like Charlemagne the God was really not really offended by it at all for some apparent reason. I don't know. But Twitter was. The Black Nativity was offended by it. Me, not so much. But he could have questioned that a little different. It's sketchy. But it also brings me back to my reason why a woman should have been our presumptive nominee. But this shows right here, our party is still sexist. America is still sexist and misogynist. Not just only racist, but sexist and misogynist. Because you could have had women as the VP. As the president, a commander-in-chief, a possible commander-in-chief. You had a Kamala Harris. You had an Elizabeth Warren. The two women that actually were one of the strongest throughout the campaign cycle. Because the other three, I don't even no. But those two were pretty strong. But y'all know where my loyalty lies. KDH. You already know because I love her. Okay? But yeah, the Black Nativity folks were out of control. Keep in mind, the Black Nativity folks, which I call them the Black celebrities, some of them that claim they're for the Black people, are the same ones that trashed the two Black candidates, and I think the Spanish candidate in the race, and even the gay candidate. So my thing is like, how you outraged? Y'all went for the two most oldest white progressive candidates who couldn't even deliver on their who messages was mixed, who couldn't even address race issues like that. Especially the oldest candidate couldn't even address race issues. He keep reverting to economics. So why are you mad of what the presumptive nominee said? You could not have that presumptive nominee. But you chose that presumptive nominee. Well, actually, because your ass didn't go and vote in primaries. You did not support the female candidates in the race. You went for the old white men because white men can only beat the white man. That's bull. Back in 2008, the first African-American man to run for president beat the eldest white man that ran for president at the time. He beat two older white men twice. That could be old enough to be his father. He beat those guys twice. Okay? So you could have supported the younger candidates, especially the women candidates in the race, but you didn't. And my policy difference. At this time, policy is great, but you also got to realize you got a jackass in the office. That's just as plain as day. And Trump will use every dirty trick in the book. Don't matter what candidate it is. But if Joe really wants to earn black votes, he got to do better. Like I say, he was not my first candidate, but he's a much better man than what we got now. But he was not my candidate. My candidate is and always will be KDH, because I love her dearly. Ever since I had a black president, I want a female. Always wanted a female president. We could have had one in 2016 who was overly smart, but of course the email scandals and tied to her husband. So we got this jackass in here, and now like we're quarantined in our house because of this jackass. Let's keep it real, folks. These same Black Nativity folks are the same, like I said, the same folks that either went for the white progressive candidates, the eldest white progressive candidates, or told your ass to stay home. Tell people not to go and vote, which is the stupidest shit I ever heard. Because my grandparents fought very hard to vote, and they had elementary school education, and it was very hard for them. But they did what they had to do, and they went to vote, and they taught my mom, because my mom is from the deep south, taught my mom the importance of voting. My father's family, they taught him the importance of voting. He grew up in New York, and taught my sisters and I the importance of voting. So I'm telling you to vote. Vote like you mean it. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Voting is a right that we have, and we need to use that right. Because if you don't vote, you're going to have the same outcome. And this guy right here We could have a depression behind this man. We're leading to a depression. Almost 40 million people unemployed in this country. And the party, the legislation is split because the party with the most power, which is the Senate, wants to cut off all economic, wants states to go bankrupt. Like, it makes no sense. Like, come on, you gotta vote, guys. Come on. And then we gotta get a black VP. And we have an old white man, almost 80 years old, running for... To me, a black VP will work. And I can say this because I went for the black woman that ran. And that black woman that ran is the best candidate. And not just because, you know, she's black. The woman have experience. She ran a whole law office, one of the largest AG offices in California. Ran for Senate. She served on the two highest committees in the Senate, the Judiciary Committee and the Intelligence Committee. Intelligence Committee deal with a lot of classified foreign domestic information. She knows the relationship within the Senate. The way she speaks about foreign policy is like, wow. And you only been in the Senate for 3 years? That's tough. The last candidate that was in the Senate for 3 years ended up becoming our first African-American president. She could become our first African female VP. That's huge. I think Biden wants to run. If he wants to win, he needs to run on the most historic ticket. He ran on a historic ticket as the VP to the first African-American president. He needs to run on the historical ticket to have the first female African-American woman president and still put a black Supreme Court judge on there. Loretta Lynch is good. My AG is good. And he should put an Asian woman on the court too. Let's make that clear. Because I hope Clarence Thomas retires too. Because he could put an Asian woman on there too. And there's a lot of women you could put on there. Because that would be great. Right, guys? So that's just my take on today's politics. Whew, I cut that off. So as I conclude, because it's almost 11 o'clock. I hope to enjoy this Memorial Day weekend. Don't feel like a long weekend. And every weekend felt like a long weekend. I'm going to watch the IG battle. I got Beanie Man. Even though I like Bounty Killer. But I love me some Beanie Man. And so I'm going to be watching that tonight. Hopefully the internet in Jamaica is good. Because Nelly internet was in Missouri. And that crap sucked. Okay? So I hope and pray that we all have a great weekend. Unwind, drink your wine. Do a mini cookout in your house. Don't go to nobody's house. Don't congregate in the park. I better not see no pictures of nobody congregating in the park. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Have a great weekend. I probably will see you a little bit tomorrow or maybe Sunday. Have a great night. Thank you.